sticky everywhere.
New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio went on The Daily Show. I wonder if he said the great threat to this country is inequality.
The bottom line is we know the great threat to this country is inequality. The great threat to this city is inequality. We have rampant growing inequality. It's going to be unsustainable for the long term. People need a core hope in our society, in democratic society, that they can actually get somewhere.
Now, this is often said to nodding heads, all fearful that disagreement comes off as cold, mean, Republican. You probably eat babies, free range. Me, I don't care, for I've yet to see a solution to this issue that doesn't rhyme with socialism. People get paid more. That's a fact. As you age, you get raises. In order to get on that path, though, you need a low-paying job first. But when your leaders view minimum wage as an end and not a start while welcoming low-wage foreign workers, good luck. Some people also get rich because their jobs create more profit. What of actors? The on-set caterer gets $100 a day, but Clooney, he gets millions. Where's Hollywood on this injustice? But de Blasio's lucky. He's calling inequality a threat because the real threat gets creamed every day by the cops. Thanks to them, the city's murder rate has plummeted, saving countless lives, black and brown, poor and young. The real measure of equality is security. Under a liberal, a poor person is a sitting duck. Giuliani and Bloomberg narrowed the gap between life and death, which opened the door for progressives like de Blasio. You need calm to let the crazies back in. Of course, when it all goes Detroit on us, we'll wonder, what were we thinking? Sadly for criminals, by then, no one will be worth mugging.
Let's see what you did there.
Yeah.
Life and death. Equality. Income inequality, life versus death gap.
Exactly.
Nice. Well done.
Now, how can government do anything about this? This is what's driving me nuts, Eric, is that there is no solution. Like, redistribution doesn't build anything.
Get out of the way.
Yeah.
That's, honestly, and that's, you're going to say it's Republican cliche, but it's not. Let the free market dictate wages. Wages will go up on their own. The more you push them up, the more you drive a job out of whatever your city, state, country. Just get out of the way. Let the free market. It works best. We have so many resources, so many assets in this country. We cannot help ourselves but succeeding if we don't screw it up with liberal socialists like this.
It was the great free market that got us into the Great Recession, if I remember right.
But
listen,
Bob, let me ask. Can I just ask you?
Yeah.
What the solutions that they're offering is how can restricting corporate pay lead to a birth of capitalism in the poor?
I don't think it can. Let me say one thing about de Blasio. What he fails to recognize about New York City is that New York City has been a city constantly re-energized by immigrants coming in, and their income is much less, and then they work their way up. So I think this is not a good thing, but I do say the Pew Center, which is probably the most unbiased of all polls, so 60% of the survey of the people in this country believe the nation's economic system unfairly favors the wealthy.
Right, and they say the government should not get involved in this. That's the reality. That's the second part. Andrea, people don't want to counter this equality argument because it seems like you're favoring the rich over the poor.
Because they do it under the guise of fairness, right? Yeah. So if it was a third world country where there's only a handful of rich people and everyone else was impoverished, okay, maybe that would make sense. That's not the case in the U.S. or New York City. According to the New York Post today, 1,200 people live in New York City who make $10 million a year. Also, 18,000 make over $1 million. That's nothing. If these people leave in droves, which many of them are, you have major budget problems. And even Mayor Bloomberg understood this. Who pays for the firefighters, the schools? He said, de Blasio promised pre-K. And so Governor Cuomo came in and he says, all right, I'll give you the money for it. And Bill de Blasio said, nope, I want to tax these New Yorkers anyway. He's gutting charter schools, which is really hurting the middle class and the poor, giving them on a fair footing because they're not unionized. So they want to take all the money from the rich is what they want to do, Greg. I don't see how that helps the poor in any way. Yeah. I just don't see it.
What's the political response to this for a Republican?
Well, I think one is defining the problem better, because what de Blasio is saying is he's not connecting the dots so Republicans can do it. So when he says, but I'm just echoing what you all have said, they need a core amount of visible opportunity, and that's been slipping away. He doesn't then connect the dot to how restricting corporate pay would then help provide more opportunity. Yeah. And one thing I'll tell you, just living here for a couple of years, you go into any small business, there are 27 certificates or permits that are up on the wall. The barriers to entry to being able to start a business in New York City is so daunting, even to me. I would have the means to be able to maybe think about starting to do it, but it's so daunting. I wouldn't put my toe in the water.
Yeah.
And if you're an immigrant into this country, or not even immigrant, if you're a young person, graduated, do you leave college and come back to New York City to be able to start a big, thriving business? It's very rare that happens, and Andrea's statistics there bear that out.
That's a very good point about have those regulations. I only wish that Wall Street and the big industrials downtown had the same restrictions and regulations on them. They would have tried to scam us the way they did.
Too bad all the Democrats blocked all of those reforms in the early 2000s.
We got Dodd-Frank, and that's very good. I hope it gets stronger than that.
Oh, the cat watching
Barney
the
Frank
hen house
was really great.
I'd say break up the big banks.
You know, it's one last point, and we'll move on. This fact always stuck with me. Maura Pennington at Forbes pointed out that Forbes would not publish its 400 list of the richest if it were identical every year. It's because being rich isn't constant. You can go up, you can go down.
That's why it's exciting to see the list come out.
Exactly. All right, next. Is there